What's up, everybody? Another episode of Verbal Garbage coming at you hot and live. Today we got one of my boys on, Steven, and I usually try to cut the intros pretty short and introduce a guest right away, but today we're going to get right to one of my pet peeves. You know, it's a thing that people call CPT, colored people time, or, people who say they're going to be there at a certain time and they show up late. And I happen to be a victim of that today with Steven. You know, he's been dicking around telling me a certain time. So, Steven, is this a common theme, or usually the last guy to the party? How's this usually work out?
I like to keep it classy, make an intro. That way I know everyone's going to be there when I'm there. So I'm not having to constantly meet and greet everybody as they show up.
Okay.
Same with work, ask Kenny. I'm, pretty much the last guy there every day.
So the fact that there's only two of you, doesn't take much
It's
to
a
be the
lot
last. And when one of them's the boss, he can kind of do and say what he wants when he wants. So it's funny you bring up Kenny, because I had a guy on last week, Nick, and I was asking him, he's got a boss that's, closer in age to him. And do you respond better to having someone like Kenny who's a little bit closer in your age range, or?
Yes and no, because since we're so close in age range, it's like that big brother, little brother thing.
Yep.
Where, the way he grew up is like, it just ended when I was born. So everything that I know, like the sayings and stuff that I know, he's like out of the loop on.
Yep.
So he thinks I'm like fucking stupid for half the shit that I say sometimes. So, but I mean, it's definitely like a big brother, little brother relationship when it comes to that. I definitely like it better than having like some 50-year-old boss who's always up my ass all the time. So it is really nice in that aspect.
Oh yeah, because I kind of wanted to bring that up. And for people who don't know, there's a lot of wars going on in the world right now, and a special war that I've noticed is Steven versus the old people. The Gen Zs versus the Boomers. He had a little scandal a couple of weeks ago, leaving his dog in the car for a very brief period of time. We reviewed the video together, and he was attacking with some old ladies there. So is this something you usually do? Do you get into it with the older people? Do you have a short fuse with the Boomers, or what are we, them not understanding the lingo? Maybe sometimes there's a misunderstanding. How does this unfold?
Dude, where do I begin, man? So I grew up in a small town in Indiana called Mooresville, where everyone was, I'd say early 20s. Highest you'd see is like 60 years old. Not too many old people around the town. So when I moved down here in 2016, I was like 15, 16 years old, and everyone's old around here, man. And I'd say probably one of my first instances with this was I just got my driver's license. I had a 2003 BMW 3 Series convertible.
Yeah.
And me and my buddies, we went to Five Guys, and you know how Five Guys had the peanuts, dude. So good. So this was before COVID, so Five Guys had the peanuts. You could just pick them up, whatever, take them out of the store. So I had my convertible top down, and we had a bunch of peanuts. So I got the bright idea to open up my cup holder thing, the armrest, and put a bunch of peanuts in there. So we're at a stoplight, and this lady previously already honked at me for God knows what. She's old, probably couldn't see me.
Oh.
So we got the bright idea of we're gonna throw peanuts at this lady through her window while she's driving. So we're throwing these peanuts through the window, and my buddy gets it right down her bra, like the peanut smack dab square right in between the titties,
God.
right down her bra. And she looks over at me and she starts screaming. And at that point, it's always been a feud. In the most recent feud, like you were saying, the Home Depot with my dog, just went in to grab some Gorilla Tape, come out, and these two 70-year-old plus women are yelling at me, screaming back and forth, telling me I'm a dog abuser, all kinds of stuff. So it's always been
fighting words. Those are definitely some fighting words right there.
Always been an ongoing thing down here. I think honestly, it's just that they're upset that they're not as young as I am now, and the things that I'm doing they didn't get to do when they were younger, so they see me doing them, and it's just an issue for them. I mean, I have all respect for anybody, my elders, but I'm definitely not one to shy away from confrontation.
I was gonna say, is there ever times where, because just knowing you for the brief period I've known you, you seem to come off as, I would say, a little bit of a hothead. It seems like I don't want to say you're looking for the beef, but if you smell some beef in the nearby proximity, I don't think you're necessarily gonna shy your little nostrils away. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, if there's beef, if there's beef, where's my burger at, man? Like
Tell
I
him.
want, like I'm always down for it.
Now, I'm just curious, has there ever been any instances where it's gotten close to physical? And if not so much with the older guys, and have you ever gotten into high school scraps, middle school scraps? Because this is a foreign
Um,
land to me. I don't think I've maybe been in one or two, but far from the norm.
so I personally have never really been in any fights physically.
Wow. Shocker
The
of the night.
only
Truly.
dude, right? That okay. So I've always been the smaller guy, especially in high school, middle school. I was always the
Still,
short, smaller guy. So all my buddies were always bigger than me, and they knew I had a mouth on me, so they would never let me ever really get into any kind of physical fight because they knew, that was their responsibility at some point to
yeah, huh?
kind of deal with. So I'd say the closest I actually no, the only fight I really got in, and it was a one punch fight. It was on a Disney cruise ship actually, and I'm playing
Oh my
basketball.
God.
Doing my thing with my boy Xavier.
Yep.
We're hooping up. We're playing
What's up,
twos.
Xavier?
Oh yeah, dude! Shout out
Open
my boy.
invitation whenever you want to come on, bro.
Oh, dude, for sure. He's a funny guy. But we're on this cruise ship and we're playing basketball. And this kid, I'm going up for a layup, and I'm shooting the ball and he pushes me down, and then he's a big tubby fat kid, so he walks up to me and like jumps on my shin, and my shin has like zero skin over it, so it hurt. So I got up and I just laid one on this kid's head. I punched him right in the mouth, gave him a left hook, and he just stared at me, and I stared at him, and I was like, "Are you gonna go?" And he just walked away. So honestly, I don't know if it's just because I'm a straight demon with these hands, or if I'm scrapping like that, or what it is, but the kid never wanted anything else with me the rest of the time on the cruise
Okay.
ship. And that's as far as I've gone. I mean, I wrestled and everything, but that was all
Did
all fighting and
did
stuff like
Minnie,
that.
Goofy, Mickey, any of them catch any of these mischievous acts, or were you unscathed?
Dude, no, they thankfully weren't anywhere near. No cast members were around to see this. Yeah, to see what there was going around, because I mean they would have caught it too. Honestly, I was in that kind of mood where Goofy, Mickey, Donald, I didn't care, man. I had the biggest crush on Mickey, or not Mickey. Sorry,
Oh,
that was
all right,
I slipped.
guys. It's okay. This is an all-inclusive podcast here. If you want to,
Uh,
reveal yourself out of that closet you've been hiding in, brother, it's seriously, we're cool.
Dude, no, Minnie. I meant to say, bro, I had the biggest crush on Minnie when I was little.
Well,
I was,
I can't blame you, buddy. Not to cut you off, but they're kind of doing away with the genders on the mouse these days. So I can, they're trying to eliminate it, make it all one big happy gender. So I can understand you conflating Mickey for Minnie. So
dude, honestly, like
freedom.
it's tough. It was tough back in the day watching those other kids take pictures with her in line. I just
Damn, it runs that
felt,
deep, huh?
uh, oh,
Is that potential playing, in any of the rage, a little bit of the Disney resentment, the Minnie Mouse resentment, the old people all kind of coming to fruition. You move down to the Sunshine State and you just got this major chocolate chip on your shoulder that you just, I mean, what do you
dude,
attribute it to?
honestly, I honestly couldn't tell you. It's something I definitely got to look into. Maybe go to a therapist about. But those, like I said, honestly, I think what it stems
Perhaps a
from.
heroic dose of mushrooms to really reflect on your inner self and think about your purpose and your value,
I'll have to get with you on those gold. I'll have to get with you on those golden teachers. No,
Yes,
but
sir.
I really think the Disney struggles for me honestly stem from when I was a baby. I was like 2 years old, and my mom took me to see Beauty and the Beast at the park, and the Beast
Terrible
came out.
mother.
Huh?
I'm just kidding. I said terrible mother.
Oh yeah, right. No, but the Beast came out in his costume or whatever, and I saw him and I started crying, dude. Like I was bawling my eyes out, whatever, and I was terrified. But
Just of costumes, like.
no, dude, just in the Beast, bro, because he was a big, like 6'5" guy. Like he was
Okay, so this is it. I think right there you felt challenged and you got intimidated. And for the rest of your life, you're like, no matter if I'm the smallest guy, the biggest guy, I'm fucking taking him on. And this has carried you to the Florida.
But this is the twist where I think it was like humiliation as well. He like picked me up and took me in the back and like calmed me down, like sat me on his lap and shit. And I don't know if he touched me or anything.
I was gonna say, were you part of the groomers projects back then, or were you one of the? We got to have you look into.
Dude, if I was, if I was Me Too movement, I'm with you. I'm a survivor as well, but I don't know, man. It's just it might have snowballed from there. But
man, who knew the layers, bro? I didn't know you were fondled by the Beast and kind of
Dude.
quasi gay. I mean, there's a lot of revelations coming out from this short little episode of Verbal Garbage. This is incredible. Yeah. So you were talking about fights earlier. It's funny. I'm been the type, like, I definitely got a mouth on me and I like stirring the pot, but when a physical confrontation comes around, I really want nothing to do with it. And growing up in my neighborhood, we had this big thing we called the pit, where like when it would snow, it was just like a big dome, but it had little hills, and we would go there to like go on sleds and stuff. And I remember there was some kind of little miniature beef in the neighborhood between, there was 3 siblings in my neighborhoods. They're named the Diorenzos. And they're all, went on to be very successful. They got families and shit now. And my one buddy, Maddie, and then me and my brother, like, we just decided to go and like ambush them there. And my one friend, Maddie, was a beast. He still to this day is an animal. And he took on the bigger brother. I took on the middle brother. My younger brother took on the youngest brother. And we just sat there and kind of like, did the Mighty Ducks thing, pulling the shirts over, doing a couple little, and it was not even a real fight. And that's like the closest thing I've ever come into being in a fight. So I'm just fascinated. I was surprised to hear that you've never really scrapped it up.
Yeah, no, I've gotten myself into, oh God, dude, I can tell you so many stories of
just the verbal wars.
Oh man, the verbal wars and this the things I used to do when I was little. I think the two or three events that actually come to my mind when like you said, when we were in a neighborhood. I lived in an area called Heartland Crossing, which is it was like one of the top 5 biggest neighborhoods in the state of Indiana at the time.
Rich boy.
No, it wasn't even like a big rich community. It was just big. It was just a big like middle class
fraud.
Dad, if you listen to this, just yeah.
We're cool.
So it was one day during our big community garage sale, and I bought myself a slingshot for water balloons. And it was a hot summer day, whatever. So me being the dumbass I was, me and one of my buddies, we set the slingshot up at the corner of our street, and we got a bunch of water balloons. So we started shooting them at cars. Not the greatest idea, but at the time it was funny. So we're shooting these water balloons at people's cars, and one of the water balloons just so happened to smack this guy's windshield, and he was not happy.
Boy.
He ended up like turning down our street, almost hitting the stop sign, and followed me home. And 10-year-old me I ran inside and I was crying to my dad. I was like, this old man's following me. And he was like, what did you do? I was like, I hit his car with a water balloon. And my dad's like, okay, go inside, handle it. This guy comes up to the house. He's like, your son's shooting water balloons. He's like, yeah, I know. I just put him in timeout, whatever. He told me just wait 10 minutes and go back outside. That's one of the earliest things I had with encounters of just verbal and almost getting myself in a situation where I could have my ass beat. The other
I have a funny thing I can relate to that. It's the same kid I was just telling you about, the little ambush fight stories. Me, him, and my brother, and we were just out front of our house. I was probably around your age, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And just being stupid, having fun outside, like, I hate to say it, but the kids nowadays, they rely so much on just sitting indoors on the electronics, just doing that. When I was younger, all we did was go outside and literally do anything to have fun. So here we are one day, just like taking branches and sticks and just throwing them in the middle of my street and waiting for cars to run. And for some reason, we thought that was funny until one fucking dapper older man comes across it, sees a branch and avoids it, and then pulls over and comes out and proceeds to like get out of his car and threaten me to pick up all the sticks or he's going to call the cops. And for some reason, I went into like a panic frenzy and picked up the sticks as fast as I could. And then I ran inside, like hiding behind my couch, crying, still thinking the cops were going to come. And I remember my friend's mom came to pick him up, and I was like freaking out thinking it was going to be a cop. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So that just goes into like, I was trying to get a rise out of people and prank them. And then the minute they stand up for themselves, which is kind of a topic I've been getting into lately, how I get frustrated with it. The guy gets frustrated, someone throwing a fucking stick in the street, which rightfully so. And then I don't know. It's just a stupid little story, but that's like what I love asking people questions, is because you could say one thing, like I heard you say firework, just a couple things, and it just springs so many memories and ideas, right? So I definitely wanted to ask, how you got started in the mechanic world. Is that something you grew up doing as a young man, 13, 14, your dad teaching you that? I mean, what's the genesis of that?
So I've always been into building stuff ever since I was little. It started out with Lego.
You're a Lego kid?
Yeah, big. So this is gonna sound a little red flaggish, but when I was little, I was into Legos, and then I've always been into firearms ever since I was super, super young. And I would always, I'd go on YouTube. And when I was little, like the paper guns were super huge. Like dudes folding up paper, like rolling paper and
Yeah.
turning guns and shit. So I was like so into that. And then my dad got me into
What, like American origami?
dude, like I was just into like building stuff. It didn't matter if it was from like sticks, mud, or anything. Like I was just into working with my hands and creating something and
Oh yeah.
just building it and finding ways to improve. And then my dad got me into erector sets when I was like 10. He got me my first erector set, and I was building everything with that. Built a running car. Like I was building pretty much everything in the book, build and coming up with my own stuff. And so I wasn't necessarily into cars until I actually got my first car when I was 16. I actually had zero like want to work on cars. It was I really wanted to go into construction and do contracting. That was my big thing because my uncle had a contracting company. So I was really into that, and I wanted to do like a 4-year degree, go to business school at Ole Miss. That was like my biggest thing.
Look at you. All right.
Yeah, and then I got expelled from high school my freshman year in that kind
of do tell, sir. Do tell.
Oh God, okay.
You don't have to cover all the details, but you can't just gloss over something like that. I'm sorry.
So, oh God, so this is kind of like a 2-part story. So it involves.
We'll make time.
Both parts involve peeing. So the first one, it was actually our varsity football pep rally. I was a freshman. And my friend's
brother. You wanted so badly to be a part of that jock crew, didn't you, boy?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. My friend, dude, my buddy's brother was taking us home that day, and he was on the varsity football team. So right immediately after the pep rally ended, we had to be at his truck and leave. So immediately after pep rally ended, we bolt back to his truck, and I have to piss so bad. But I know that if I go inside, I know his brother was gonna leave me. So I was like, Camden, like block off. So we had a really like our school was on. It's really hard to like depict without a picture or whatever.
It's okay. But yeah, we don't need.
We're in the parking lot, and if you're facing the back of the parking lot, on the left side is the school, and on the right side there's a church with a road. And on the left side where the school is, there's a giant walking path where all the kids are coming from, leaving the pep rally to come into the school. And that's the way we ran down. So I'm like, okay, Camden, block that way off so I can pee. So he stands there. I'm peeing behind his brother's truck. While I'm not looking, there's a cop parked in the church parking lot watching this all happen, watching me pee right by his truck. So we get into the truck. We turn. We go down that road. The cop immediately pulls us over. His brother immediately, without a question, looks in the back seat and goes, "What the fuck did you do?" The cop comes up to my window, starts banging on it. He's like, "You need to bring your parents in right now, or not right now, but tomorrow to go into school." Dude. And I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck, bro?" So I already knew my ass was getting suspended, and I've been suspended like 3 or 4 times before this for just
Jesus Christ,
like, bro. Like it wasn't even because I like got bad grades or anything. I just ran my mouth and gave the teacher brownies and shit like that. Like it was bad. So that's the last event. Now go back in time.
So what did you get suspended from that?
Dude, so we have to go back in time for this one. So
you're mind fucking me already, dude.
Yeah. So
it's like the new Chris Pratt show.
Bro, rewind like 2 months from that event. I'm on the bus, right? And I have to piss so fucking bad. Like but I can't go inside the school. So I have this giant smart water bottle, right? And I pee in the smart water bottle, and no one knows except for like everyone around me, right? So this
no
girl
one knows except everybody.
Except the bus driver doesn't know. That's the important part. So
maybe next time we'll just say, everybody but the bus driver. Instead of nobody knows except everybody except the bus driver.
Okay, so this girl Amelia, who's like 3 seats in front of me in the little aisle over, she like knows I did this.
Snitch.
And, like she doesn't tell. She's like James, the kid behind me. This kid's name is James Tischendorf. James, if you
Oh,
ever hear this,
easy.
if you ever hear this, dude, I love you to death, but like, why? So Amelia's like, James, I'll give you $50 if you drink his pee. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm like, I'm not drinking it, and it ain't my $50. So whatever. And James is like, yeah, I'll do it. I give it to him, and he takes a drink of it, and then he like swallows a little bit, and then spits the rest out on the floor.
oh.
So everybody's going crazy on the back of this bus, right? Like just screaming,
That's amazing.
screaming, dude. And I'm like, fuck. Why are you calm the fuck down? So I put the bottle in my bag. And the bus driver looks back in the mirror and sees me put something in my bag. So he comes running back to the back and he's like, what'd you put in your bag? I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, I saw you put a bottle in your bag. I was like, yeah, it's just my water. And he's like, okay, let me see it. And I was like, dude, it's just a water bottle. Like, you've seen one before, right? And he's like, okay, let me see it.
That fucking mouth of yours. Yep.
Dude, he's like, let me see the fucking bottle. And I was like, okay, here, bro. Dude, my piss is so fucking warm and yellow.
Amber.
Like,
yeah.
mad dehydrated, bro. Like, it's like fucking orange juice out in this, or like apple juice out in the sun. So I give it to him, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, it's apple juice, bro. Like, what else? Like, what am I supposed to say? Jesus. I was like, it's apple juice. So he's like, this isn't fucking apple juice. And as I'm getting off the bus, this motherfucker pushes me in the back because he kicks me out the bus. He pushes me in the back.
Was this like a teacher?
Dude, this was the bus driver named Bob. Forever gonna hate that motherfucker. He pushes me in the back as he kicks me off the bus. And I turn around and I go, you want to do that again, old man? You really want to fucking do that again?
Dude, the old man circle never fails, baby.
Bro, and he's like, what? I was like, you want to push me in the fucking back again and see what happens, old man? So this is what kind of
real quick, if he said yes, would you have walked up the stairs again on the bus and then turned around and then like proceeded to walk back out and let him kick you?
Oh, dude, I would, dude, yeah, I 110.
And then bull rushed him? Yeah.
Dude, oh, yeah.
Ripped him out of the seat, thrown him out, stomped his brains into the mud, and okay, yep.
Oh, yeah, dude, the full serve, like, he would have got all
Very
my
good. Proceed.
So this is what really fucked me is I'm getting off the bus, and the first two people I see is my football coach, my DB coach, and the fucking principal. And they see me.
Was she a MILF by any chance, or?
Dude, it was a guy. He was short. He looked like your gnome without a hat. So I get off the bus and they're like, what did you do? And they see the bottle and I'm explaining to my coach. I was like, dude, I had to go pee. Like I couldn't like not go home or whatever. I didn't have a ride, so I had to pee in the bottle. Mind you, I didn't mention this drinking thing. So they just think I peed in the bottle. So that's the end of like, that's where I go in the office whenever they suspend me for a week. I come back to school.
So this was the first pissing strike. This was the first time the pissing bandit struck.
That was like the first thing. So fast forward 2 months to where my parents come into school. My parents have the meeting, whatever, with the principal. And they're like, yeah, your son can't come to school for a week. And they're like, okay, whatever. Week suspension doesn't mean anything to me at this point. Happened to me like 3 other times before this. So
what would you do when you were suspended? Video games? Were your parents like restrictive of you doing anything when you were suspended, or were you able to free roam and do what you wanted?
I pretty much did what I wanted.
Were you like dissecting rats in your basement and exploding them with fireworks or something, or?
No, nothing to that extreme. Occasionally I put like a spider there, like whatever was in the basement. But no, I wasn't like serial killer crazy. Like
just a touch. Just like me, like I have a touch of Down syndrome. You have a touch of psycho killer in you, I think.
Dude, hey, as long as your syndrome's down but your money's up, that's all that matters, man.
Well, we can't really, attest too much to the money being up, but
Josh, if you're listening to this right now, pay my man.
Don't. Enough. All right, continue.
Oh crap. Okay, so my parents are in there. They suspend me for a week. So I'm going through the suspension, whatever. I'm just chilling, having a good time on my suspension, taking my little vacation. The day before I'm supposed to come back to school, the school calls my mom and my dad, and they're like, yeah, your kid can't finish school. He's got to do online or go to the alternative school. So they expelled me. And They never said why.
That was the official expulsion right there. Just he
Yeah,
can't come
like that
back.
was
Yeah.
but they never told me why. And then I figured out that James had a sister that was also on this bus named Michaela. Total bitch, hated her, total narc.
Fuck you, Michaela.
Dude, fuck you forever, Michaela. Like you're an op for sure.
Yeah.
But
Don't know that term, but you're a
but
jit and an odd bitch. All right, go.
so I guess she snitched because James drank the piss and got the $50. Or James never got the $50 from Amelia. So she snitched and told him that I did all this, blah, blah, blah. But I was suspended at the time. Like, I don't know what came up for her to snitch 2 months later. But, like, I think it was the fact that she found out I was suspended. So she wanted me, like, gone for good. So she told on me. And then they, like, went through the cameras and shit on the bus. And they found it to be
Wow,
true.
I forgot you're so young. They have fucking cameras on your bus.
Dude, bro, that's
holy shit. The troubles I avoided from not having a camera on my buses. Dude, oh my word.
I have so many bus stories. I've been suspended and kicked off the bus like probably 15 plus times.
Wow. That's dude, impressive. I mean, honestly.
Dude, like, so that all went down. That's why I got expelled. But like the first issue,
were you like a bully type in high school? Or were you just fucking like, because I admit, like in high school and middle school and stuff, I was definitely a bad boy, you know, but I never took it to the point where I would get expelled or suspended. But I'm just curious, like, were you like the majority of your suspensions, was it just insubordination? Like, what if you had to pinpoint a certain amount?
Dude, it was I never got like in trouble for bullying kids. I never like, yeah, I would talk shit and like make fun of people, but it would never be like, you know, constant bullying. It was mainly insubordination, like just goofing off in class and, you know, doing shit I shouldn't be doing and saying inappropriate things in class and just stuff like that.
And just never really knowing the line, I guess, right? Like, because that's what I'm saying. I would always be flirting with the danger, but I kind of know where to cut myself off. It sounds like you kind of had a propensity to live on the edge.
Dude, I would cross the line. So I was the guy, like, you ever see those movies where like they draw the line in the sand and the dude like plays with his foot over.
That's
that was me, except I stood completely over the line sometimes. And it kind of, I mean, as I got older, after I left that school and I moved down here, I never really got in trouble.
Was it right after you got expelled that you moved down here, essentially?
Yeah. So after
I got fresh beginnings.
So before I got expelled, my mom had a stroke in October.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah. So it was like I kind of didn't like give a fuck what was going on. So I was just like kind of goofing off or whatever. And then my dad already made thing after it happened down here. So I was like, whatever, what I have to lose. So yeah, I moved down here right after that. And then I never really got in trouble down here. I had my cousin that I knew and then his friends. But other than that, I was like brand new and I didn't know how anything worked. So I kind of just kept to myself and I didn't really step any boundaries because I didn't know how the school was or, you know, what was acceptable, like what you could say, what you couldn't say. In Fort Myers, the school I went to was really strict. So it was definitely a lot different than what I was used to growing up. The things you said where I grew up would not fly remotely down here. So it definitely kind of forced me to adjust. And
that's good though. You did, right? You completely matured and changed. Yeah, for sure. For the most part, it's such a big thing about second chances, man. You know, people could label you a certain way for some of the stuff you did in school there. And it could have just been dumb immaturity, stuff going on inside the house, at school. There's so many factors that contribute, especially when you're young. And like, I don't know, did you have, if you don't mind me asking, like, did you have a pretty stable household growing up as far as like your mom and dad being cohesive? Or
no, I could not have asked for a better childhood growing up.
So you were just like me, you had great upbringing, but when you were fucking off and fucking around, it had no indication of your parents' job of raising you. It was just you being an asshole, just like me. I'm speaking when you're saying you being an asshole, I'm saying like me talking to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like no, there was absolutely nothing parenting wise. My parents never like they went wrong on. I will say I never like got spanked.
Oh, bro,
really, like I was never.
See, you're missing out on that generation because, bro, like. I met Mr. Leather multiple times where if me and my brother would say anything out of pocket, my dad would take his belt off and do the whole thing where he would make the leather smack. My mom would do a dry bath with me of either Tabasco or soap. And it's funny looking back because like these would be in car rides where I'd be cursing and she threatened it to all me and my two siblings. None of them ever got it except me. Like I got Tabascoed and fucking soaped so many times where she would just stick like a literally a bar of soap in my mouth and just literally just ram it down my throat like a bunch of fucking hot dogs like Joey Chestnut. And I was just like I feel, and I always talk about like I was so restricted with cursing and stuff. And now it's just making me think like I love spicy hot food. And when I cook, my mom does not like it because it's too spicy. And I'm about to be like, it's all that fucking Tabasco sauce you forced down my throat when I was younger. How about that? So like,
Yeah,
the wooden spoon, dude, like she would beat the crap out of me and my brother with that. I remember one time she chased us around with the wooden spoon, and me and my brother, like I ran into one car, he ran into another car, and we locked ourselves in one of our cars. I can't remember if it was the same time, but my brother fucking put the car in reverse when he was real young and backed up into the neighbor's yard. Like just so much wild shit. So yeah, the fact that you didn't get any whippings from the parents. I mean, I had so many instances of my dad. Like one time my dad whipped us with the belt, but he did it on the wrong side. So I had that fucking, like the part that you would clip through the holes, the little stick. I had that hit the top of my fucking melon. Like,
oh, dude.
yeah. So it
Dude,
wasn't
no.
ever like any kind of abuse or anything. Like to me, I'm still such a proponent of being able to discipline your kids with some kind of, I don't want to say force, but you know, like a good spanking, a good little belt whipping, a good little wooden spoon. As long as your mom's not breaking the wooden spoon over your ass, like happened to me once, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I like my mom would hit me with a wooden spoon or like smack me occasionally, but it was never consistent. Like I can't name a time where I was genuinely spanked in my life, maybe like past age 7. Like even when I got expelled, I never got grounded.
Wow.
Like I was they pretty much parented me because yeah, their philosophy was that I wasn't doing drugs, I wasn't fighting,
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything illegal. I really wasn't like causing any harm to anybody. I was just fucking goofing off. And they knew that it really wasn't something that if I was to like leave on my own or like have a job, that it would really affect my career as much as like say like drugs or
Right.
stealing cars or some shit or fighting or whatever. But they raised me, and there's a lot of stuff that self-discipline comes along with it because you're not taught the discipline as a child. So like when you get to like 18, 19, 20 years old, some people your age that have been like spanked or hit with a belt or whatever, they have that like that extra discipline already built into them, or like just self-awareness because they've had that growing up as a child. So there is some like drawbacks to it. And I told my dad that I wish sometimes he'd smack me a little bit just to kind of because I respond to that like harsh criticism kind of thing.
For sure. Yeah.
But
I mean,
he never wanted to, because he never wanted his philosophy was he never wanted me to remember him as that kind of parent.
Yeah.
So
my dad felt the same kind of way, and he definitely had that. It's like there's two parents, and one always has the scary role, and one's always like, and some people have like the aggressive mom. My dad was always the one that me and my brother feared just because of the physical aspect. And like I said, it wasn't anything bad, but it was definitely something that we were aware of. And it seemed to have instilled just a real sense of respect for your elders. That was like the one thing I always carried. And it's something that's so common and obvious, but still some people, you watch the way some people talk to older people. And I'm very big on that, like eye contact, listening, responding, because it comes off as so rude when you're not. And you were just talking about like not doing the drugs and all that. And it's funny because like in high school, our house was like the mecca for pot smoking, right? We would have my brother and we'd have 3 or 4 bongs, bowls, all bubblers, all kinds of shit. And we would all smoke out back. My parents finally started getting hip to it and realized what we were doing. And like, they saw it as such a sign of disrespect and like, you're just abusing our house. And like, there's obviously a portion of that that's true. I mean, it is their house and we were partaking in illegal activities. But like the other side is all of us are going to smoke weed anyway. Why not do it in a controlled environment where we literally, dude, we would smoke and just like play Call of Duty or watch basketball or like Jersey Shore or just the most innocent, stupid little things. And we'd be eating ice cream, like just innocent sitting there. So, I mean, I get it that it's illegal. And from my parents' perspective, like technically they could have had a neighbor call the cops on us and come and bust us and they could have gotten in trouble. I guess maybe. But just looking back, I'm like, man, is there really any harm in just smoking a little bit of that plant and chilling out, you know?
Yeah, dude. Like my parents, I never growing up. I was never potted. I never drank. I would never got into vaping.
I tried to
I don't know
pretend I
why.
drank for a while, dude, just to feel cool and fit in. Like we were doing a ski trip one time and they were drinking beers in the car on their way up. And like one of my sister's friends, she was driving and she gave me a beer and I took like one sip and then like an hour later she shook it and there was nothing. She's like, "Are you gonna drink that?" I'm like, "Oh, I love it. That's my second one." She's like, "No, I saw it was your first." I'm like, "Okay." And then like I had friends over in high school. Like I went to a high school on a different side of town, right? So I grew up on the east side, but I went to the west side high school. And I remember like one of the first times I had a bunch of my friends sleep over and hang out. And like my dad had a kegerator and they were all like taking beer out of the kegerator. And I was like, A, hated beer, and B, nervous that we were like stealing from my dad. So I was trying to pretend like I liked beer and I got busted again in my fraudulent state. So, I don't know. I
Oh my
still a
god.
big fan of
Yeah, I
the
never.
reefer these days, and I'll drink a little bit of the brown corn liquor, but I'm not much of a drinker. We're
Oh, dude,
we
I love.
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I said I'm a big whiskey, bourbon, Hennessy guy.
Oh
Like
yeah. You got any
I,
particulars that are your favorites off the top of your head, or?
Knob Creek, probably one of my go-to budget whiskeys. Like it's cheap. You can get it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
I had. I'm trying to remember what I had the other day. It was like a nice peanut butter whiskey over at my girlfriend's
See, those
family.
are a little bit too sweet for me, but I have tons of bitters in my house because I'm a big whiskey, like an old fashioned drinker.
Oh yeah,
So we get like tons of different bitters for even like tequila and gin drinks, but we have chocolate bitters for old fashions, and you put the little bit of that in a peanut butter whiskey shot, or not a shot, but like a little drink, and it's a
yeah.
nice little chocolate peanut butter, bitters it out, and makes it even. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
we're hitting the home stretch here, buddy, and I hate how recently I've been doing episodes and I get cut off. So it's at 102, 101, 1 minute. So I'm gonna just kind of close it out here. I don't want to get cut off. So any final thoughts on your end, real quick, under 30 seconds?
Dude, I got nothing. But if you guys are listening, definitely stay tuned on this episode. And if you want any snap-on tools, go to Frank. He's your
My
guy.
man, appreciate
sure.
that.
If you're on social media, follow the Instagram, slowjit.c5.
Okay.
Big car guy. So hopefully we'll more stuff on there in the next couple of weeks. But appreciate you having me on here.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine, brother, and I look forward to doing this again soon with you. And
Oh yeah.
can't thank you again, buddy. And I'm gonna end it there so we don't get cut off. Steven, thanks again, brother. Thank you everyone for listening. You're the man, bro. Thanks, buddy.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. That was awesome.
Dude.